With so many different kinds of water softener salts on the market, how do you choose which one is best for your family? This one has a cleaner in it, but this one has a better cleaner in it if you've got iron in your well water. This one here isn't even salt at all. Some of them are more prone to clogging than others, and some of them you should definitely avoid. Which one should you choose? Relax. I'm going to explain it all to you starting right now. Hi, I'm Gary the Water Guy, and I simplify water filtration to help you conquer crappy water for your family. Now, whether you're a do-it-yourself homeowner or a plumber, this video is perfect for you. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what kind of salt you should be choosing for your water softener, and you'll definitely know which kind of salt you definitely want to avoid to keep it from clogging. By the way, the brand of water softener salt doesn't matter at all. In fact, it varies significantly geographically. What's most important is the type of water softener. There's 6 different types, and you got to make sure that you choose the best one. So we all know the salt sits inside the brine tank portion of the water softener, but it basically has 2 functions. The first is that when it gets touched by the water, the salt dissolves into the water to make brine, and the second is to keep from clogging that brine tank. Inside your water softener brine tank, you've got one of these, and this is a brine well. So it has a cap on the top, which is very important to make sure salt doesn't get inside the brine well. And then if you look inside, you'll see a float inside there, and that's what controls the water going into the brine tank and coming back out of the brine tank and going to regenerate the media in the water softener. At the bottom of the brine well, you can see some slots, and those slots are where water goes down through and into the brine tank to combine with the salt to make the brine, but it also needs to be sucked out of there through those very small slots and go up through the float and go to regenerate the media in the resin tank. Now, if the salt becomes clogged around this area, then that's going to stop the water softeners from working. And like I say, that's one of the most important functions of the water softener salt, is to make sure it doesn't cause a clog. If you're not sure how a water softener works, I've got a great video that explains it all. I'll put a link in the description down below. So what's wrong with the cheapest kind of water softener salt you can get out there? Well, it's basically rock salt. And rock salt is exactly how it sounds. It has a lot of impurities in it. It has a lot of rocks in it. So what happens is when the water goes into the brine tank and combines with rock salt, what happens is it washes the dirt particles out, it absorbs the salt, and then it sucks that brine, when it's made the brine, sucks it out of the tank and into the media tank. Well, the problem is the dirt stays behind, some of it, but not all of it. A good portion of it also gets sucked in, and it can clog your injector and can cause other problems in your water softener. And of course, that dirt that gets left behind in the brine tank makes a huge mess, and it'll make a muddy base in the bottom of that brine tank that'll need to be cleaned out frequently. Now, in preparation for this video, I went looking for rock salt because it was on the market not that long ago, but I couldn't find it anywhere, and that's a good thing. So if you can avoid buying rock salt, definitely do that. So the least costly salt that I could find in this market was solar salt. Solar salt is made 2 different ways. It can either be made from seawater, that's why you might even see solar sea salt, and basically what it is seawater that's put in big pools, very, very shallow pools, and the sun, that's where the name solar comes in, dries out or evaporates the water out of that, and what's left is the salt, and then that salt is harvested. Another way that solar salt can be produced is if you have a big salt deposit, water can get pumped into that salt deposit, it absorbs the salt, and then that brine, now it becomes brine of course, is sucked out, and again, it's deposited in these very shallow pools. The sun evaporates out the water, and then you got solar salt. Solar salt isn't the purest salt, and it definitely has some dirt particles in it. One of the things that I don't like about solar salt is it looks like little pieces of glass. It's very, very fine pieces, all irregularly shaped, and they can clog your water softener very easily. There's a very few amount of water softeners out there that require solar salt because solar salt typically doesn't have any additives in it. So if you have a water softener that says it's a sanitizer water softener, or I've seen some mixed bed type water softeners, and check your manual. If solar salt's recommended, you definitely want to use it, because if you use some of the other salts that have some cleaners in it, it can harm the media inside your resin tank. So the next next type of water softener salt I'd like you to consider are water softener pellets. So these are shaped like little pillows or pills or that kind of shape. They have a very distinctive shape, and that shape keeps them from clogging. And that's one of the great features about this salt. But it has a lot of other great features too, especially when you consider the Windsor Clean and Protect product, because it's 99.99% pure. So it's a very pure salt, so it's not going to leave any residue behind. But it also has cleaners in it, and it also has citric acid in it. And what that does, it cleans up the pipes, and it cleans up a lot of your anything that uses water in your home, including your hot water heater, your dishwasher, etc. And it really protects those water-using appliances. And the salt has a resin cleaner in it. So if you're on a municipal water source, you never need to add any kind of resin cleaner if you're using Windsor Clean and Protect salt. Now, if your water source is well water and you have iron in your well water and you're using that water softener to get rid of that iron, those salt pellets are also available as Clean and Protect with Clean Care. And what that has, it has a special chemical in it that does a deep cleaning of the resin beads in your water softener to get rid of all of that iron. And it really makes that resin last a whole lot longer. Previously, that product was known as rust remover salt, and it's helped many families extend the life of their water softeners. So next up is crystal salt. So crystal salt looks like broken pieces of glass. It's all irregularly shaped sizes and pieces, and they're all, some are longer, some are shorter, some are square, etc. Now, I don't like this salt, and the reason I don't like it is, although it's 100% natural, or that's what it says on the bag anyway, it clogs water softeners more than any other kind of salt I've seen before. So what happens is those irregularly shaped pieces, when water goes in, makes brine, and then the brine comes out, the salt kind of gets soaked, and those irregular pieces, as you get more and more salt in there, compresses and it forms a solid mass. And it's brutal to clean that out of the water softener. So that's definitely one I would encourage you to avoid. So what about that non-salt water softener salt I mentioned at the beginning? Well, that's potassium chloride. So potassium chloride is an alternative. It will work to regenerate the media in your water softener. So these first ones we talked about here are all sodium chloride salt, where this one's potassium chloride. So it's based on potassium. So why doesn't everyone use potassium chloride? Well, there's a few problems with it. First of all, it's 4 to 5 times as expensive as all these other salts. So that's a big cost. Secondly, it's only 80% as efficient as the other kinds of salts we've talked about here. So because of that, you have to adjust your settings to compensate for that. The other thing is it clogs. Man, does this stuff clog. Again, it's that irregularly shaped product that's kind of like broken glass, uneven shapes, that kind of thing. And again, it clogs like nothing else clogs. Recently, I helped a family that had a salt clog, and they had been using potassium chloride. Why? Well, what happened was they had a service person in earlier, and when they had asked the service person, what kind of salt should I be using in this water softener, they said, use the good stuff. So they went to the store, and the most expensive salt they could find was potassium chloride. So that's what they used. And that clogged that water softener. And when the water softener stopped working, they added more salt, and it clogged more of it. And it was a horrific job to unclog it. It took me 3 or 4 visits over about a week to get it unclogged. And by the way, if you ever run into a salt clog situation, I've got a great YouTube video that shows you how to get rid of that salt clog. Again, I'll put a link in the description down below. And by the way, if you are looking for a new water softener, check out our websites, waterestore.com in the US or waterestore.ca in Canada. We offer free shipping and discount pricing. Click the link in the description down below. So what's the best water softener salt for your family? Well, if there's no iron in your water, the Clean and Protect water softener pellets are definitely the way to go. That's what I use for my family. If there is iron in your water, then use the Clean and Protect with Clean Care that has that rust remover salt. If you've got a sanitizer type water softener, then you have to use the solar salt. Forget the rest, they're just going to cause you grief. For more videos on water softeners, click up here, and I'll see you there.